Welcome everybody this afternoon. We've got a few more people coming into the lobby just as we go to air now. So we'll give it another 20 seconds or so just to pick those people up. Okay, I think we'll get underway. Welcome to Investment New South Wales' information session on how to expand your food and beverage exports to China, Japan, Korea, the United Arab Emirates and the Middle East, United Kingdom and Vietnam. I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and pay my respects to the elders past and present. There's some guidelines for today, folks. There are quite a few people on the call, so what we might ask you to do is, first of all, just want to let you know that it is being recorded. That's so that you can go back later on and have a look at some things you may have missed or wanted a little bit more clarification on. And in that sort of spirit, we would like you to turn off your cameras, please. Your microphones will be muted and you will be able to add questions into the chat box, of which the staff here will bring to my attention or answer as we go along if the responses are pretty clear. But please remember that all of those messages that you put into the chat box are visible by others on the call. Thank you. Well, my name is Warwick Cerf. I'm the Associate Director of Export Programs here at Investment New South Wales, and primarily responsible for the management and execution of our Going Global export program. It is in our second year at the moment. I'd just like to give you a broad overview of the program early on, but we do have a very tight program. So there are a lot of speakers. I'm going to push people along fairly quickly. After my introduction, we will then move through the various markets and you'll hear from the various trade commissioners and directors of those markets with specific attention to those markets with respect to food and beverage and agribusiness and healthcare products into those markets. If I could just go to the slide that overviews the program, please. The New South Wales Going Global program this year is quite comprehensive. Last year we ran the program fairly successfully over 14 streams, that being the markets by the sector groups that we've been giving attention to. This year we've expanded it, and as you can see, this conversation that we want to have today is around the agri-food and processed food area. But you can see that we've certainly drawn a lot of attention into other sectors as well. There's a fair bit of interest on the call today. We understand that there's roughly about 110 businesses that have registered their interest to find out more. And as you can see, we're opening places on each of those food and beverage programs. And so at the end of this, we would really hope that you've given full consideration to what this program might offer, given those markets that we're opening up right now. And then there are further 2 markets that are opening up for applications later in October. The program itself is a fairly interactive program. Of course, a lot of this has been done virtually these days due to restrictions that we've had under COVID, but it primarily goes through a training curriculum, what I would call a coaching and a mentoring curriculum, and then we culminate that with assisting businesses to match with other businesses in market that may lead them to either distributorship or as a customer base or some other likely commercial prospect that they might get from a lead into that marketplace. So ultimately, we're looking to try and get businesses like yours well prepared to go offshore, to diversify into other markets, and ultimately try and give you a little bit of a leg up into that marketplace by introducing you to a business partner at the other end. Next slide, please. I'll now introduce the rest of the presenters as we go through. But as you can see, they are coming from the markets that we are profiling today. Murray Davis for the Greater China area. For Japan, we have Reiko Ishimada. For the Republic of Korea, we have Eugene Kim. For the Middle East, Moin Anwar is going to speak to us. The recently appointed Stephen Cartwright to the UK and Europe as the Agent General for that locality will also speak to us. And finally, we'll cover off Vietnam through Kian Nguyen in that post as well. So they're all going to rip through pretty quickly because obviously there's a lot of content to cover. I'll try and keep people moving along fairly quickly, but I'd like to now take the opportunity to introduce Murray to cover off on Greater China, please.
Thank you, Warwick. That's great. Now, just a quick check the mic here that people can hear. Is some of the signal audible?
All good.
Warwick, I feel like I'm on the Gong Show. I've got my 6 minutes. And, I've got a little stopwatch here that'll. I'm trying to just time myself, so I'll discipline myself to within the 6 minutes. You know, it's interesting. Chinese is a funny language, and it's actually got a word for a person who hogs the microphone. You can look it up in the dictionary if you wanted to, and I'll make sure that I'm not going to be one of those today, Warwick. So let's whip through the thing here. Before I change to the next slide, what I would like to do is just have a couple of very preparatory remarks about the China market, and I'm sure that for people who are in Australia reading the local news about China, it does seem to be a scary and somewhat unpredictable place right now. Depending on how closely you follow news in China, you would have seen news ranging from a couple of days ago to about 6 weeks ago that have included the following: the banning of private companies from reporting financial news. You've seen major attempts to rein in the operations of the big tech companies, Alibaba and Tencent and many others, anti-monopoly suits being brought against them, forced donations of billions of dollars to government-appointed charities and so forth. You saw several tens of billions of dollars of shareholder value disappear when they disallowed private tutoring in China. You saw overseas listings torpedoed. You saw online games banned. You saw major government intervention in the property market. You will have recently seen, news about crippling energy shortages that are hitting the country, and all of this in the context of a sort of a pretty stormy bilateral relationship at the moment. So if you look at all of those things, you could be excused for thinking that it was a sort of a risky and slightly unpredictable sort of a place. So what I'd like to do is just to try to put all that aside, I suppose, having just raised it, but put it aside and just focus on the sector that we've got here, which is the food and beverage sector. So if you can have a quick move to the next slide, please, Warwick, or Joe, whoever's driving.
Opportunity is the good one.
Yeah, probably just taking a moment to, I can't see it just yet, so. All right, there we go. There we go. So, all right. So I've used up a couple of minutes of my time, so I better whip into this pretty quickly. You look there for the sector that we're talking about today: food, beverage, health, supplements, these sorts of things. China is our largest market for the state of New South Wales. It's over $3 billion, and you can see there that chart in the top right shows you there's your $3 billion from China, the next largest market, the United States, and the others sort of tail off from there. This is our largest market by a long shot. So just on that basis alone, I think it's a market that you need to seriously consider looking at. It's fast growing, it's diversified, it's quite different to the market entry channels into China are quite different to other markets. There are multi-channels. There are a whole lot of stuff that come in through cross-border e-commerce. Some of it is coming in through general trading. Some of it's coming in through different kinds of joint venture arrangements. It's a very complicated market, and during the course of our program, we will be introducing you to systematically through how these different market entry channels work. It's a market which is very, you have to be very targeted about who you're marketing to. You can see that little word there, the she economy, which refers to the fact that many of the purchasing decisions for the products that this audience will be marketing are actually decided by women of different ages, different products, different demographics. But it's something where you've got to be very targeted at this particular female decision-making sort of group of people. The following subsectors are all of great interest to Chinese consumers. So anything about processed food and beverage, you've got a good shot in this market. Fresh stuff, chilled, frozen, all good. Huge interest at the moment in plant-based proteins. The big consumers, about $1 billion here. You can see the health supplements over on the bottom right-hand chart there. That's all health supplements, $800 or $900 billion. Alcoholic beverages also. Now, we can't do wine anymore, but you can do spirits, you can do beers, there's all sorts of things. I've used up my time, so Warwick, I will relinquish the microphone. This is just a very, very, very light touch. Please reach out to us if you'd like to know more about the China market. The team here will be very, very happy to talk you through if you've got any questions. But I'll stop there and hand back to you, Warwick. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Murray. And of course, you can see more relating to the China program on our website. I'll now hand over to Reika to go through the Japanese position and what's likely to be on offer for the Japanese program. Thank you, Reika.
Thanks, Warwick. Hello, everyone. My name is Reiko Shimada. I'm the Senior Business Development Manager for Investment New South Wales Japan office. It's my pleasure to introduce the Japan food and beverage stream to you. Next slide, please. Our program will consist of 3 stages. The introduction sessions will prepare your business to understand the overarching trends of the Japanese market, including food and bev exports to Japan, and understanding the financial and non-financial support that exists for New South Wales exporters. They will set the scenes for coming months. The next phase, the preparation phase, running from January to February, will be a deeper dive on some of the more complex issues associated with the Japanese market, including business etiquette, language, marketing and branding, to help build your pitch to Japan and understanding some of the channels to market. We'll use a range of trusted service providers to help us deliver workshops to build your awareness on Japan and to form your market entry strategies. In the final engagement phase, we plan to take a booth at FoodX 2022, the largest F&B food trade show in Japan, to be held in mid-March. We expect there will still be some travel restrictions, so our staff and our service provider will present your products at the show and will aim to identify quality leads for your company. We will also conduct a separate online business matching exercise where we intend to deliver you with qualified business leads and to facilitate those introductions. We'll finish up the program in May, and before the conclusion, we plan to have a debriefing session with each company to discuss next steps. Our program will aim not to only identify and introduce you to potential business partners, but provide you with fundamental cultural awareness to help you nurture these effectively. Next slide, please. Finally, I'd like to touch on 4 points regarding our relationship with Japan and the market opportunities. First point is that Japan is New South Wales' largest export destination. It has a population of 126 million with high disposable income. Japanese consumers spend about 1 trillion Australian dollars a year on foodstuff. Japan has very limited farming land, so they need to import around 60% of their food and bev requirements. They're highly experienced at sourcing products from all over the world, so it's a very competitive and sophisticated market. The Japan-Australia Economic Partnership Agreement, JPA, came into force in 2015, and we had the 8th round of tariff cuts in April this year, providing an advantage in supplying many products to Japan, including beef, honey, fruit juice, and some dairy products. Second point is that Japan has multiple sales channels and highly developed supply chains. Grocery retailing is the largest segment and is highly competitive and price sensitive, except for some boutique chains. Convenience stores, there are about 56,000 stores across Japan, and in Tokyo, you see one at every corner as you walk by. Food service is a good channel for premium branded products. It has suffered with COVID, but we're expecting a steep recovery as Japan has come out of its lockdown and is seeing signs of improvement in the COVID situation. E-commerce is still a relatively small market, but it has received a boost from COVID, and even before then, it was projected to grow at around 8.2% every year to 2024. Just touching on other unique characteristics of the Japanese market, brand and food safety are very important, and Japan places a premium on quality. It's seeking healthier lifestyles. The aging population and COVID has made people look for healthier options. It's open to trialing new products, such as seen in the strong growth of craft beer, cider, and spirits sector. The Japanese market has very high expectation on quality control and packaging specifications. So in the program, we will explore what these mean for your product category and explain how to adapt to and appeal to the Japanese buyers. Going on to the third point of my slide, it will be the second time for our team to run this Going Global Food and Bev program in Japan, and we're already seeing some successes come out of the program, which has just finished in June. We'll soon be setting up a dedicated New South Wales office in Japan with a food and beverage specialist, so our enhanced team is looking forward to supporting you. Lastly, we hope our program will help you learn how to do business in Japan, explore the market, and build relationships. Although Japan can be a very demanding customer, there's an opportunity to build relationships that will deliver business outcomes over the longer term. Japan places a high level of importance on relationships as a key foundation to successful business partnerships. And distributors will look to work repeatedly with suppliers they trust. We hope many of you who appreciate and share this philosophy will join our program. Applications for the program is open until 22nd of October. Thank you. That's it from me.
Reiko, thank you very much for outlining the program there for the people on the line. I will now move fairly quickly to the Republic of Korea, and Eugene Kim is the Trade and Investment Director in that locality. So I'll hand it over to you, Eugene.
Thanks, Warwick. I'm Eugene, New South Wales Trade and Investment Director based in Seoul. Next slide, please. Thank you. Korea program is similar to Japan one in terms of the flows and steps. Introduction phase will prepare your business to understand the trends of the Korea market. We would like to brief you about Korea food industry trends and unique distribution channels in Korea, which include TV home shopping channels, e-commerce platforms, and various hypermarkets categories in Korea. Korea market briefing will be held in February next year. The preparation phase, running from March to April, will be a deeper dive on some of the more complex issues. Korea market include business practice, marketing, packaging, positioning, labeling requirements, and branding, and so on. And our final phase of the program is to identify the right Korean partners for your products. We intend to connect you with the potential buyers for Korea market. Given COVID travel restrictions, we hope to deliver you a virtual tour of the Korea hypermarket as relevant to your product. and to provide you with feedback from the customers or importers to help you understand how your product is perceived from a Korean perspective. All the work will culminated in a one-on-one business matching event that may held around Seoul Food and Hotel, which is the major Korean F&B trade show held in Seoul each year. So next 2022 Seoul Food and Hotel will be held in June. And we intend to deliver you with qualified business leads to facilitate those introductions so that you can enter commercial negotiations with confidence. At the conclusion of the program, we are also intending to deliver some follow-up activities that may include briefings and facilitate your communication with the potential partners. Next slide, please. Thank you. South Korea is the first largest trading partner of Australia. The top exports are coal, iron ores, and concentrates, natural gas, and agriculture. And South Korea is now the fourth largest packaged food market in the Asia-Pacific region and is the 18th largest market in the world. The food market size in Korea amounted to around $200 billion in 2019. So South Korea's F&B market is characterized by hypermarket and growing sales through e-commerce platforms. The consumers shift towards Western cuisines and increased online food orders are the key factors driving the South Korean food and beverage market. So Korean households' monthly per capita spending on the dining out has continued a solid growth for several consecutive years. Food delivery market in South Korea expanded by 70% from the previous year to $18 billion in 2020 from $10 billion in 2019, as consumers frequently ordering food online under stay-at-home norm amid virus threat. The market for health functional food in South Korea amounted to approximately $4.5 billion in 2020. It has grown significantly over the past 5 years, getting close to double the value from the $2.5 billion in 2015. Health functional foods refers to specific products made by compacting elements that are beneficial to the human body into easily consumable packages. They are consumed for their promoted health benefits, such as improving eyesight, countering natural aging, and strengthening the immune system. And the increase in sales and market size in health food is most likely due to the coronavirus and consumers trying to boost their health as best as they can. CAFTA, Korea-Australia Free Trade Agreement, was implemented in 2014, and next year is the 9th year of CAFTA implementation. The agreement protects and enhances the competitive position of Australia's business in South Korea. Australian exporters gain significantly improved market access in goods with the tariff elimination and nearly all current exports by full implementation of the agreement. Currently, tariff has been eliminated on macadamia, chocolate products, fruit juice, refined oil, wine, dairy spread, and so on. You could benefit from CAFTA and New South Wales Going Global Korea program. Look forward to working closely with you soon. Thank you. That's it from me. Hand over to you, Warwick.
Thanks, Eugen. Again, invite you to go to the website if you're interested in the Korean program and have a little bit more of a look at what that program has on offer. We will now cast our attention to the Middle East, and I will now offer the floor to Moen Anwar, who is our Trade and Investment Commissioner for the Middle East region. Over to you, Moen.
Thank you, Warwick, and good afternoon to all in New South Wales. So my name is Moen Anwar, and I'm based in Abu Dhabi. We predominantly cover the Gulf market and the GCC region, which basically covers the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, Oman, and Qatar. Next slide, please. So as a region, the GCC is obviously a growing region. The population of the GCC region is the UAE tends to be an ideal entry point, predominantly because you've got a sort of a wide mix of people from different parts of the world living over here, and also the fact you've got strong air and sea logistics with Australia, and finally labeling restrictions for the UAE are a bit more lenient than I would say, Saudi Arabia. So a lot of the food companies who are keen on the GCC opportunities actually start with the GCC region by first entering the UAE. Very broadly, the food and beverage market of the GCC region is $267 billion. The region does have a low agricultural output, and that's basically due to the harsh climatic conditions. So therefore, it's a natural sort of a requirement from the region to import food and beverage for domestic consumption. If you're looking at the local market, it is a diversified in terms of you've got strong opportunities in retail as well as food service. The food service segment is growing in the UAE and across the GCC, so there are opportunities for companies from New South Wales not only to supply ready-to-consume products, but also food ingredients which can be used in the manufacturing process. As you would imagine, as part due to the COVID restrictions, the region is focusing on adopting different food tech technologies with the intention of growing the local food production. So if there are companies who've got innovative solutions within the food tech or companies which can actually help in the local domestic food production, we would welcome those companies to participate in this program. Some of the sectors which do offer strong potential, that includes health food, vegetables, nuts, dairy, meat, seafood, and non-alcoholic beverages. Over here, I may also add that currently we are looking at opportunities for protein replacement, and that's a segment which is strong but growing slowly. Turning to the images on the slide, so we have a program which is developed over the next 6 months, and that basically focuses on starting from the introduction phase, which would basically help equip companies with the knowledge they need to service the local requirements. It then leads into preparation and then finally engagement. The engagement would basically happen during the week of Gulf Food, and that is where we would be working with local players to basically help you position yourselves with the local importers and distributors to enter the market. I may also add that Gulf Food is running during the period when Expo is taking place in UAE. Expo is basically I would best describe that as the Olympics for business. It happens once in 5 years, and we are fortunate that it's happening in Dubai this year. Delayed from last year, it started on October 1, running till the 31st of March. And the Expo is expected to draw about 25 million visitors to visit the UAE, and this obviously creates an ideal opportunity for your companies if you're part of the Going Global program to showcase your products during Gulf Food and basically make the most of it. While the Expo is taking place in the UAE, it is a global event. With this in mind, I would strongly encourage companies to do look at the Middle East. Last year's program, we've had a pretty good success rate. So we're all here to support you, grow your business and enter this dynamic market. Thank you very much. Warwick, over to you.
Thanks, Mohan. And again, the key, just to reinforce, the key feature of that program in the Middle East is Gulf Foods that is centered around World Expo over there this year. I'd like now to turn our attention to the United Kingdom and our food and beverage programs into the UK, and would like to hand over to our recently appointed Agent General for the UK, Stephen Cartwright. Thanks, Stephen.
Well, thanks, Warwick, and good afternoon, everybody. As you can see from the introduction slide, my region includes the United Kingdom, Europe and Israel, but this afternoon I want to focus on the food and beverage program that we've developed for the United Kingdom and talk to you a bit more about that. Most of you would be aware that New South Wales and the UK have always enjoyed a close relationship because we've got a shared history, shared culture, shared values. We even enjoy the same sport and we drive on the same side of the road. So we've got a lot in common and there's a deep history there. But I think there's really an opportunity now to take the relationship that we have to another level. And the two things that are really I guess, bearing on that is the fact that we are in a post-Brexit world for the UK, and also we are on the verge of having a brand new free trade agreement between Australia and the UK. So really, there's never been a better time for New South Wales businesses that are in the food and beverage industries to look at the opportunities that the UK has to offer. First of all, the UK has got a massive consumer base, over 70 million potential customers and high net worth customers by and large. And it's really important to note that over half of the UK's food needs are imported. And the UK also happens to be one of the largest e-commerce markets in the world. And consumers have proven to be very ready and eager to try unique products, and specifically unique products from this part of the world. So given that we've got innovative, high quality and sustainable products from New South Wales, that we've got a strong and trusted regulatory environment for our food and beverage industries, then I think we are in the box seat to really expand our presence in the UK market and take advantage of that rapidly increasing appetite for premium produce. Next slide, please. So how can we help you if you're interested? First of all, the good news is expressions of interest open on the 27th of October, so very, very soon. We've already engaged 2 experts to work with you if you want to participate. One of those experts is based here to help you get ready to launch in the UK market. The other one is based in the UK. Now, these experts specialise in preparing businesses to export and introducing food and beverage brands to UK buyers and distributors. So that's exactly what you want. The actual activities with those companies that proceed will start in early December with an introduction session. Then we do workshops around the trends for food and beverage in the UK, export readiness, pricing, regulatory requirements, freight, logistics, and of course, looking at the free trade agreement benefits and how they're going to assist into February and March next year. Now, these sessions are going to be supplemented by one-on-one support so that we help each participating company understand the opportunity for their market and their product, as well as provide assistance to develop a relevant pitch and suggested market entry strategies for you. Now, in March or April next year, our UK-based specialists will then take over and we'll start the business matching and introduction process with UK stakeholders, potential buyers, give you mentoring and give you in-market advice from industry leader panels. Depending on the travel situation, then in May or June, we'll look at an in-market activity, either a face-to-face or a virtual in-market activity, perhaps a roadshow or showcase with participating brands. Now, ideal product categories for this UK program are premium processed food and beverages, native ingredients, health and wellbeing products, wine, beer and spirits, and products that can take advantage of the reduced tariffs that are in the free trade agreement. Some of the eligibility requirements to participate, though, you have to be a company that's already exporting to at least one overseas market. You must have at least 3 full-time employee or FTE equivalent employees, and you must be committed to pursuing these opportunities in the United Kingdom. Once the program is over, we'll do a program debrief, we'll give you ongoing advice, and we'll follow up with support along the way. It's all part of our going global offering. Next slide, please. That's it. So what does the UK market look like so that you can consider whether this is the right market for you? The UK is actually one of the fastest growing food and beverage markets in the world, so that's got to be a tick. There's a growing demand for innovative and high quality raw ingredients in food products. You only need to look at the growing sections of gluten-free products in the big chain Sainsbury's in the UK. Some of you might have even tried the British seedlip alcohol-free gin, which you can even buy here now in Sydney, to see the change that's occurring in terms of the demand in that market. Brexit, of course, is going to present companies in New South Wales and exporters in New South Wales with fresh opportunities to develop new relationships and new business with UK partners who are, for the first time in a long time, looking to trade beyond the European Union. Also, as I mentioned, free trade about to be signed between Australia and the United Kingdom. There's already been announced tariff reductions on Australian wine and foods, and there'll be a simplified customs procedure for exports. And New South Wales food and beverage businesses have an opportunity to capture a much larger share of the UK market than we have today. We're here to help you navigate all of these developments and all of these opportunities. I'm going to be moving to London early next year, and we'll be leading a team of experts in the UK market in London to help you navigate the food and beverage ecosystem over there. So whatever the size of your food and drink business, the UK is the place if you are looking for growth, innovation and support, including tax relief from the government, grants and funding. And my team can help you locate and access all of those incentives. So in summary, a large customer base of 70 million people, and don't forget it can also be a gateway to the 450 million customers that are sitting just off its borders in Europe. It's the 5th largest economy in the world and remains the most popular destination for foreign direct investment in Europe. And the upcoming free trade agreement says now is the time, if you're in the food and beverage industry, to have a look at the UK as a potential new overseas market. Join our Going Global program and we will give you the best support that you could ever want. Thank you.
Thanks, Stephen, and some exciting opportunities no doubt coming there as a consequence of Brexit and the free trade agreement. So please take the opportunity to have a real good look at that program as well. I'll now move on to Kian Nguyen from our Vietnam team, who is the Trade and Investment Director in that market. Over to you, Kian.
Thank you, Warwick. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kian, and I joined Investment New South Wales back in 2020, and I'm here almost a year. For Vietnam, next slide, please. For Vietnam Going Global program this year, we would like to focus on the processed and packaged food and beverage to products. We also have 3 phases. The first phase is the introduction phase, taking place between December and January next year, with the briefing the program objectives to participants and participant introductions. We will give you the information about the challenges and the opportunities and trends in the market. We'll help you with information and session about culture here in Vietnam and how to do business in Vietnam. In the preparation phase between January and March, we'll give you the sessions on information about the IP, the logistics, contract, etc., the import requirements, marketing, distribution information, and we'll help you with preparing your brand and product pitch so that you can pitch to the potential customers here in Vietnam. And then from April to June, we'll be engaging you with the virtual product showcase. And if travel allows, then we'll help you to do showcase physically. We'll help you to match with the potential buyers here in Vietnam for your product. And then after that, we'll follow with the support and advice and referrals wherever possible and relevant. Next slide, please. So why should you be interested in Vietnam markets? Vietnam has a lot of opportunities because it has a very rapid food spending in Vietnam, and last year alone, it's the total revenue on food and beverage is about 60 billion Australian dollars, and between 2021 and 25, it is forecast that it will be growing at 8.6%. There'll be a significant growth in disposable income among the population, so that people will spend more, especially on the food and beverage and on meat, for example, on other drinks. So the non-alcoholic drink sector is also set to grow by 8.3%. Because of the youth economy and the middle income class growing. So then we focus on healthy and functional beverages and fruit juice and ready to drink teas. Other packaged food as well, like frozen ready to serve food and other nutritional food and dry and preserved fruits as well. Next slide, please. So I think that is it from us. So last year we also ran the food and beverage export going global export program for Vietnam. And we had an example to support one company to establish here in Vietnam with their representative, with their research, market research, and then they signed a contract with one of the biggest supermarkets here in Vietnam. So that is an example of how we support the cohort going to market in Vietnam. And I look forward to receiving your expression of interest pretty soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Kian. And thanks to all the speakers for covering off, their respective markets in the short time frame and the detail to which you were able to do that. It's greatly appreciated. Now we move to a section of today's presentation. We'll try and have everybody out of here by the 5 o'clock deadline that we set out. But we really want to open it up to any questions. We will take questions via the chat link if we can. In light of time, hopefully we've covered a lot of material that answers those questions for you. But if there's anything specifically that you would like us to try and cover off right now, we're happy to do that in the time that we have left. Otherwise, we will end up pointing you to our website material, which is, I think some of it's been dropping into the chat, and it's certainly there in terms of the website that's now on screen at investment.newsouthwales.gov.au/going-global. Please note that the applications are open already for China, Japan, the UAE and the Middle East. And also for Vietnam. Now, the closing dates vary a little there. As you can see, for the first 3 of those markets, they will close on the 22nd of October. And for Vietnam, as Kian has just said, it will close a little bit later on the 29th of October. Please also consider in the mix Korea and the United Kingdom, which do open on the 27th of October and will conclude on the 17th of November. That sort of gives you the range of the markets that this year's program is looking at from a food and beverage point of view. What we've tried to do is present all of the options of markets in this year's program at the one time to give you as a business a bit of choice as to what market suits you, suits your product, suits the type of business you're in, and suits the customer base that you're seeking to attract in terms of your export ambitions. I'm just checking the chat now to see if there's any further questions coming in, and doesn't seem to be anything there. I'll just refer to the team. Can the team see anything there that I'm missing?
No, there's no questions at the moment.
Okay. Look, again, I guess in the interest of trying to encourage businesses to apply, we've got a number of ways in which we might be able to reach out to you. Of course, we've got our export advisor network that are across the state as well. They have been reaching out to a lot of businesses, and I'm sure that's probably one of the ways you found out about this particular session was through those people. They can aptly answer any more specific questions maybe about where your business is positioned, what the load might be in terms of your business being able to participate, and more particularly about whether you've got the wherewithal, capability and resources to be able to go into the particular market that you might be thinking of. Having said all that, I really do want to back up our speakers earlier in encouraging you to maybe be a bit ambitious about what the prospects are of moving offshore or diversifying to another market, because we are really here to try and employ the resources that we have right across the board to support New South Wales businesses in whatever that endeavour might be. And we've got a lot of tools and people in places now that can support this sort of program and support your business in making an introduction into those markets. So again, I just really want to back up everything that's been said already around the food and beverage program for this year, and you know, encourage you to look really diligently at each of the programs and give really strong consideration to you know, to putting an application in. There is a hand up, but I can't really see who that might be, so I'll invite the person that does have their hand up to unmute themselves and come forward with a question if that's appropriate.
Yeah, thank you so much. I tried to find the chat box to put my question, but I can't see it. So yeah, so my name is Will. I'm from Liverpool Wine, based in Manly, and yeah, we are growing in the domestic market, and we aim to export just in recent months, and we are getting like fantastic support from New South Wales Trade and Australia in the past couple of months. So I would like to ask how this like kind of program is different from the support we are getting from Australia and also New South Wales Trade so far. Yep, thanks so much.
Okay, in isolation, it's a bit hard to answer that question, so I'll just repeat it so everyone knows. The question was around, you know, there are services being provided already by Austrade and New South Wales government in a number of different guises. How does this program vary or differ from what's been offered at the moment? In some ways, there will be potentially overlap. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Of course, you know, we try not to use resources in areas where, you know, they don't really, they're not efficient to be used, but there might be some overlap in terms of some of the introductory material that we're doing. What we can offer, and that's particularly what the speakers have been, are really, I guess, really talking about, and that is the services that they can provide additionally to the Austrade services in market. And we really are building up a good network of business operators, people with really strong local knowledge, with good connections through the business environment in those markets that can provide you with an extra, I suppose, an extra string to your bow in terms of going to those markets. As I said, there may well be some overlap in some areas in terms of some of the services that you might see through an Austrade or through ourselves. We're trying to work with Austrade to make sure that's kept to a limit, and that we don't have too much of that. But of course, the best thing you can do is apply, look at the program, try and deduct from what you see and the information you've got as to whether the services that you're already getting are similar or the same, and then start to talk to us on the way through. The best thing we can do is try and understand your business as best we can. That's why we have in-field people in the export advisor roles, and then try and encourage you to pick up the various tools, the various training, and the various in-market support that we will give you, that hopefully will give you an extra edge in getting into that marketplace. I'm not sure if there's any more hands up.
Yes, there is, Warwick. Angus
see.
Barnes.
Please just point me to it, because my visibility on this screen doesn't show me that.
No problem, Warwick. It's Angus Barnes. I'm the Executive Officer of the New South Wales Wine Industry Association. Thank you all for your comments today. I will say that the chat function never works for guests, so all the people who are outside of the New South Wales government can't see or use the chat function, so it's a little difficult. Just a question about timing. So the Japan food and beverage offer is particularly of interest to the New South Wales wine industry, but really it's the 13th of October today, and if the close-off is 7 business days away, I'm just wondering if there's any opportunity to maybe extend that by a week or so that we can get the message out across the industry as quickly as possible and see if we can seek some genuine interest.
Angus, look, I'll be happy to talk with the crew in terms of what the operational logistics of that are. Certainly our intention is to be as inclusive as we possibly can be, notwithstanding, as I said, some of the logistical elements that sit around this. So I might give you a phone call after this and let's see what we can do, Angus, because as I said, our intention is to be far more inclusive with our program than exclusive. And if a little bit of extra time allows businesses to give due consideration to participation, we're definitely up for that.
Thanks, Warwick. Thanks.
Okay, well, I do apologise that the chat function was pretty ineffectual. We'll look at that for future programs like this. But if there's still more hands up, can you maybe just go off mute and identify yourself?
There is one in the chat function, and I'm just wondering if you can please talk about whether a participant that somebody that were participated in the program last year, whether they're eligible to apply this year.
Thank you for the question, and it's a very good one. And in the spirit of what I've just said to Angus about inclusivity, the answer is yes. However, we would be asking you to look at a different market. We're happy to deploy the resources to support businesses to diversify, but we feel as though if you've been on the program and you went to that particular market in last year's program, we'd certainly be willing to help you to get to another market, but not the same one. So yes, you can participate in the program again, and we certainly do welcome that. But please consider how your product or service might fit a different market so that we can help you to reach those growth ambitions somewhere else.
And a related question, can I participate in 2 streams at one time?
Our experience, if you were on last year, our experience last year was that we allowed a number of businesses to do that. Last year, what tended to happen was when the load of participating in the program became apparent and what was required, those businesses tended to drop out of one or the other of the 2 programs that they were participating in at the same time. Please talk to us. I would suggest that maybe you could apply for both, and we can then talk to you about due consideration on whether whether it's going to work for your business and for the program for you to be on both. But we're really encouraging businesses only to apply for one, but we are open to having a discussion about whether it's whether your business is suitable for both. It's a long-winded way of saying no, but yes, we will consider it.
There's no further questions or hands raised.
Okay. Well, again, in the spirit of sort of ending on time and moving through, again, I just want to encourage people to maybe go to our website, have a brief look there, reach out to our export advisor network if questions can't be answered there. But please observe the closing dates and look to our social media sites for more announcements around these sorts of things. We will be using that vehicle to communicate as we may extensions of dates and those sorts of things in terms of deadlines. The main thing is to try and stay connected with us as best we can. As I say, we are looking to try and develop our services all the time, and that's the best mechanism for us to get our any changes to our services and timing out in the public domain. I think that's about all I really wanted to go through. That is the next step, is really for you to have a look at the website and get an application in. The application takes about 20 minutes to upload, so get the information you need to get. It unfortunately isn't as interactive as we'd like it to be, but it's still pretty functional. If you have all the information at your fingertips before you start, generally you can get through it in 20 minutes pretty easily. And as we've said, we're looking to get these programs underway fairly quickly. And so the turnaround in terms of evaluation and notification back to you as to whether you've been successful in the program or not will be pretty quick, and certainly a lot quicker than we've experienced previously. Again, thank you to the speakers for giving up of your time. Thank you to you for making the inquiry and registering and coming online today to have a look at this program. We really do hope to welcome you on board and look forward to really trying to support you to get that first customer overseas, to get those sales, to make that entree into that market, and to really start to use Going Global as a platform for your export business to expand or even kick off its global sales empire. So again, thank you. I'll close it out now, and hope to be talking to many of you over the course of the next 6 months as these programs unfold. Thank you.
Thanks, Warwick. Really appreciate it.